All right, let's talk about using Sequelize models. In the last lecture, we actually created the models, but how do we use these models? So let's go ahead and use them. The first thing we need to do is to require. We need to import those models. So let's go ahead and say models equals to require, and we're just going to say models. If you go in your models folder, you can see the index as well as the task model that we actually created in the last lecture. And we are importing these models. So now after importing this model, we should be able to use task. So let's go ahead and do that. Models dot task dot find one. So just find one task. And then when you find it, so it's a promise, then give me the task and simply go ahead and print the task on the console. And you can see that over here I have my nodemon running. And here's the cool thing. You didn't really write any SQL, right? You just wrote model.task.findOne. Task over here, by the way, maps to the task database table. All right. So when we are saying that go to the database table task, find me one task, and then give it to me and then print it, well, it's going to go over here. And if I run this command, well, there are no tasks. You can see it's in the database, it's like 0 tasks. So what is it going to print? Well, nothing. No, right here. But the interesting thing to note over here is that, look at that. It's not using some magic. It's actually issuing a select command to get the task. Let's see if I can actually copy this select, and will it actually work on this side? Wow, it works. So this code generated, this code over here, line 5 and, oops, line 5 and find one method basically generated this SQL for us. We didn't have to type it. It just automatically generated it for us. Of course, it's returning us nothing because there's nothing in the database. So what will be our next task? Well, let's go ahead and create something in the database. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and create something. So I'm going to say constant task equals to models.task.build. And this is basically where you're going to build the object for the task. What properties you want the task to have? Well, it can actually hold two properties. Two of the ones that you're interested in, the title and is completed. All right, so title, mow the lawn. Wow, what's going on? All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Mow the lawn is completed. Let's just say false. So that's my first task that I've completed. I've created. It's not saved. It's just the object. It's not saved to the database or anything. I need to save it. So let's go ahead and save it. Task dot save, and after you save it, just give me the new task, the task that you actually save, and go ahead and print it out on the screen. You might be wondering at this point, wait, what's the difference between the new task and the task? I mean, shouldn't it be exactly the same? Well, let's go ahead and run it. And here we go. So this is what it's actually printing out on the screen now. And it's different. Well, it's the same attributes that you're sending it back. You can see title is mow the lawn. It's completed at false. But look at that. Now we have a new ID, which is representing this particular task that we just created. That's the unique key. We also have the updated at, basically today's date, and created at, which is today's date. But more importantly, we can actually go into our database and we can run the command now, and it returns you one task now. Cool, right? So that's how you save the task. And now it's in the database. It's not going anywhere. So I can remove this line. I can comment on this line. I can say saving a new task. And this is just, for me, it's task. For you, it might be a customer, it might be a user, it might be an account, it might be a Pokemon, whatever. Let's go ahead and run the find one method now, because it should return us something. And it does. It returns us a task. That's the only task that's in the database, right? All right, so the find one method can also takes in, so this is the plain find one method with no filter. All right, but the find one method can actually take a filter. You can filter it out. So filter, or fetch a particular task. So I can say models.task.find1, and in the find one, now I can specify, well, how I want to fetch it, where the title of the task is mow the lawn. There we go. Once you find this, give me the task, and simply print the task on the console. Let's go ahead and run it. Oh no, I messed up somewhere. Maybe over here. No, somewhere I messed up, and now I don't know where I did. All right, that's okay. That's okay. Let's write it again. Models dot task dot find one dot then function, and I get the task, and console.log the task. Let's go ahead and save it. All right, so it's getting the task, but it doesn't really have any filter associated with it. So let's go ahead and add a filter. So the filter will be where the title of the task is mow the lawn, and it returns us the same task, mow the lawn. But let's say if I search for something else, let's say I search for, instead of mow the lawn, I do the dishes. That's the task I'm searching for. And look at that, it returns nil or null, because there is no task called do the dishes. All right. You can also find the task by the ID, which is very, very important, because this ID is unique. So if I go to the database, this is a unique ID for the task, which is mow the lawn. And most of the time you will have this ID in your interface, and you can use that. So find, it's actually so important that they have actually given you a new method, find by ID. That's the primary key. And let's go ahead and print it out. And let's go over here so you can see what's going on. Save it, and it returns the same task. You can see it's the same task, mow the lawn. What about if I pass in some wrong ID? 30. Null. Well, there is no ID 30. All right. What about if I want to get all the tasks in the database? So I don't care how many tasks are there, just give me all the tasks. All right, let's do that. Fetch all tasks. Models.task.find all. All right. dot, there's no filter, then function task. Now let's go ahead and print it out. Console.log task. Oops. Let's go ahead and run it. And this is very important to note. It's returning an array of tasks now. Not a single task, an array of tasks. Find all is going to return you an array of tasks. Now at this point, you only have one task. So let's go ahead and create one more task. So I'm going to say console over here. And instead of this, I'm going to say maybe do the dishes and feed the fish. All right, that should be enough. Don't need this one anymore. All right, let's go also in the database and check if all these tasks are inserted. And you can see mow the lawn, do the dishes, feed the fish. So we have 3 tasks now. So if I run that right now, it should display, it should give me all the tasks because I'm using find all. And let's see, here we go, feed the fish, and do the dishes, and it's an array. It returns you an array of tasks. Correct, right? What about if you want to remove the task, you want to destroy it, you want to delete it? How do you do that? Let's comment this one out. No, okay. And let's call about delete the task. Well, it depends what task you want to delete. So I can say over here models.task.destroy, right, dot function. I'm going to return anything. Oops, sorry, it should be then. It's a promise, right? But destroy, don't do that because it's going to destroy everything. You want to put something over here like a filter criteria. What do you want to destroy? Well, destroy the one where title is feed the fish. All right. So let's go ahead and save it. And look at that. It's running this particular SQL command, delete from task. And let's look at our database. Let's go ahead and refresh it. And now we have only 2 tasks. Mow the lawn and do the dishes. Feed the fish is now gone. All right. And that's pretty much it. I mean, definitely you have to practice this. There are so many different ways that you can do this. There's so many different commands depending on your needs. The great thing is that you can always check the database that if it's returning the right thing, if it's adding or deleting or destroying the right thing. And you can also, if you have, you can also print out these things from NodeMon. Right? It's actually printing out what command it's running. All right, so that was about using the models in Sequelize.